What you doing out here with all this ass? Double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon, hella ass, the sun is still out.
Damn! Key note, for those of you who maybe have hip dips, do not think that training that muscle is gonna fill in the gaps of your hip dips. You cannot do anything about hip dips. That's a structural thing. That's your bones. That's your hips and your femur bones together that create that shape. It's your bones. You cannot change the shape of your bones. So don't think that training that muscle group is gonna do something about it. Just wanna point that out there.
Hello, everyone.
God, can you scream any louder? Oh my God.
Welcome back to another video.
God, it's just like your ringing of your voice just won't stop in my ear. Anyways, David and Ali here, back with a new video. But before we get into it, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you miss out on any new videos. Because remember, new videos on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So don't miss out. So today, we're going to be talking about my favorite body part of Ali. Yeah.
Your what?
My.
Your what?
I love you.
Uh-huh.
You have an amazing personality.
Well. A lot of privileges are going to be taken from you.
Oh, I don't ask for permission. It's easier to ask for forgiveness. Anyways, so summer is only a couple of months out, a couple of weeks, however you want to look at it. It's time to start getting in shape. If you wait until the week or 2 weeks right before summer, you're not going to get the body you want. You got to start putting the work in now, and you want to have that beach body. Ain't that right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to be talking about the most important muscle group in the body. I'm talking about the glutes. I'm talking about, yeah. So a lot of girls specifically, they obviously want to emphasize the glute training, but there's different ways of how you can train it. And not saying that any of them are wrong. There are good ways and there are better ways. We're gonna take some of the common exercises that you already do for glutes and we're gonna modify them just to take them up to the next level. But I wanna point out, doesn't matter which exercise you do for glutes, at the end of the day, if you're not eating enough protein, you're not lifting heavy enough, you're not pushing hard enough, you're not feeling the burn, actually getting outside your comfort zone, making it hurt, feeling the discomfort of lifting, you're not gonna be seeing results, all right? You could do sets of 20, but if by the last rep, you don't feel any fatigue, you feel, I feel all right, you're not gonna be seeing results. So always take that into account. And it's not just for glutes, that goes for any muscle group that you're training. So let's get into it. So the first exercise that's pretty common that everyone does when it comes to growing the glutes, obviously, is going to be the squats. Now, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this exercise. However, there are ways to do it better. Look at the way that Ali is doing them. She's just going at a moderate pace, no big deal. The depths, decent, nothing wrong. But if you want to take it to the next level, here's what you need to do. You need to emphasize the eccentrics. Eccentric is this part that she's doing right now. You see how she now slowed it down? Good. You need to slow it down on the way down for any movement. So squats particular, as the bar's coming down, slow and controlled. On the way up, just, regular pace. Or if you want to go slow on the way up too, no big deal. But the main emphasis here is the eccentrics. Going slow on the way down. Why? It's because that's where our body is going to be responding the most to hypertrophic changes. That means growing the muscle, hypertrophy, making the muscle bigger. A lot of people, they just speed through the reps or they're just bouncing. Like, go ahead, just bounce off the bottom of the squat fast. Boom, you see a lot of that. That's good, but it's not the best. You're leaving a lot of gains on the table if you are just speeding through the reps. Slow it down. And then on top of that, make sure we're hitting the proper depth. So go as low as you can, slow on the way down. Feel the stretch. There should be a great amount of resistance at the bottom portion of every movement where there's the most stretch on the muscle. That is where you're gonna be seeing the most results. So if you're only going halfway down on your squats, your glute is not stretching out all the way. Because again, how do we stretch out our glutes? By going like this. How do we contract it? By straightening out our hips. So that's exactly what she needs to do. And that's what all of you need to do if you really want to take your squats to the next level, to actually emphasize the actual glute portion of it. Slow on the way down, full stretch, full depth. All right, go ahead and rack it. Now, from right here, just go ahead and do a couple of body weight squats as if you were doing a goblet squat. Pay attention here to her actual torso angle. Just imagine she's holding a dumbbell here for a goblet squat, which I see very common, okay? Get a couple more in. Look at how vertical her torso is. All right, now pretend to do it as if you have a bar on your back. So pretend you're holding onto it. Now go for it. All right, you see how much more her torso is angling down? That's what we want. If your goal is to grow the glutes, you want more of a forward torso lean. Why? Because that's gonna stretch out the glutes a lot more. Oh, I'm sorry, am I making you feel uncomfortable?
You're interrupting my set.
I'm looking at your glutes.
Okay.
I like what I see. But yeah, you can go ahead and rest now. So that's what you want to do. If you want to grow the glutes, I see many of you just going with regular goblet squats. I don't know if it's fear that you don't want to have heavy weight on your back, but you got to keep in mind your glutes, and not just your glutes, just overall your leg development, your leg muscles, they're the biggest and strongest muscle groups in your body. So therefore, you need to load it up with heavy weights. You need to give it enough stimulus. You got to have something placed on it to force itself to adapt. So those are the 3 things to modify your squat. Slow on the way down, full range of motion, feel the stretch in those glutes, and more of a forward lean to really lengthen those glutes. That way they have more range of motion that they have to contract through. That's gonna be the first exercise. Second one, right here. The next exercise that Ale is doing is just a regular cable hip extension, cable kickback, whatever you want to call it. Now, this is going to be a great exercise to just isolate the glute. The only muscle group that is being worked right here is the glute compared to a squat where it works your quads and your glutes. So good exercise, but there's ways to make it even better. So look at right now how far her leg is kicking back and look at how close it is to actually coming back. Once you go on these type of machines, you're pretty limited obviously by where the lever arms and the actual apparatus kicks out to. So you see, if she were to go even closer down here, she's kicking this part, the leg of the rack. So that's limiting your range of motion. So what she can do is take a step back, right there, and then lean more, bend more at the hip and hold onto it. So that way, even when she kicks back, now it's even more lengthened. Again, how do we stretch out the glutes? We do so by extending our knee, bringing our leg up. This is stretching out the glute. So we really want to emphasize that stretch, the full range of motion. That's what we need to train with. Now, pay attention to kind of the angle of her body. Do you feel like you're leaning a little one side to keep your leg from hitting the ground? Yeah, she said yeah, in case y'all couldn't hear. So easy fix. So right here, we got a weight plate, but you can use a bumper plate, regular plate, step-up box. You just need something to elevate your foot on. So if right now she's working her right leg, which she is, go ahead and put this on the other side. So step on it. And now she's elevated so that when she's actually doing the kickback, or I should say the hip extension, when she brings her leg back, it's not hitting the ground. So she doesn't have to worry about the ground stopping her range of motion like this. She can continue going all the way through. Keep in mind, don't avoid the first tip. Still make sure you put the box or the plate further enough back so that way she could really bend and that way you get the full stretch in the glute. Now, as people start fatiguing with this exercise, it starts looking a little less like a hip extension and it starts looking a little bit more like a donkey kick. Like, look how her knee's bending. It looks like she's almost like leg pressing the weight back. At that point, it's not just a glute exercise anymore. Now she's working the quads a little bit more. So keep in mind, if you only want to work the glutes or you want to emphasize the glutes, make sure we keep that knee straight. Let your glute do all the work by moving the entire leg back. Don't let your knee do the work by pushing it out. All right, it's not a leg press, it's a hip extension. Last and final exercise, similar to the previous one, but now it's going to be aiming towards the side. So instead of working this big old piece of meat right here called the gluteus maximus, we're gonna be training the equally as desirable, smaller piece of meat right here, the saddlebags as some people will call them, the handles, the grips. That's called your glute medius. Again, the big one that most people train, gluteus maximus, small ones on the side right here, gluteus medius. It's a smaller muscle group, but it is still a muscle. We still need to train it. It contributes to the overall look of the glute. So you see, this one, we don't have to worry so much about stepping onto a platform. What is important though is make sure the leg crosses over the front one. Many people, they only go up to here and then they kick out. No, again, train the full range of motion, cross the leg, and then kick out. All right, go ahead and rest. So you see, that's why it's important to train all the different angles. Again, you got to get used to your leg moving off to that side. You got to get your leg used to moving off of. I love your personality.
Let me do the other side.
Do you, buddy? I'm just here admiring. The female body is something to admire and appreciate. Yours in particular.
Yeah, you better be.
Let me say that again. Yours specifically. So yeah, make sure you train both sides. And with this exercise, just like the other two, still slow on the way down, nice and control on the way up.
As you can see, I put him through the best booty workout ever. Okay, now you can talk.
I forgive you for everything that you've done.
Thanks.
Anyways, so that's it. Remember, 3 key exercises, very common. There's nothing wrong with them. There's just ways to make it better. When it comes to the squat, instead of half-assing it and just going through the motion, no. Instead, slow on the way down, full depth, a little bit more torso lean. Next one, the glute kickback or hip extension, however you want to call it. Elevate yourself onto a plate. Make sure you don't turn it into a leg press. Keep that knee straight and actually bend forward a little bit more. Get the full stretch in the glute. And then actually turn yourself to the side. Next one, leg abductions. That's what it's called. Remember, abduct means away from the body. Don't just stop halfway through. Actually let that leg cross in front of you. And I'd like to point out, also, as you start fatigue, don't let your hips do all the work. When you're trying to kick your legs out, don't bring your hips into it like that. No, let the muscle right here, the glute medius, do all the work. It's a smaller muscle group, but it's on the sides. It will definitely complete the look. Key note, for those of you who maybe have hip dips, do not think that training that muscle is gonna fill in the gaps of your hip dips. You cannot do anything about hip dips. That's a structural thing. That's your bones. That's your hips and your femur bones together that create that shape. It's your bones. You cannot change the shape of your bones. So don't think that training that muscle group is gonna do something about it. Just wanna point that out there. Comment down below, what are some tips that you have for growing your glutes? And just admire. Just, man. I'm a lucky man. What can I say? What can I say? I did that shit. She was, small and petite, still had a nice shape when I met her.
I had a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She had a good shape, but I made that shit like looking like a rap video.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so comment down below what are your tips for growing your glutes. Comment down below also any other video suggestions you may have, whether it be about mindset, motivation, nutrition, diet, workouts, programs, whatever it is. Comment down below. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Be sure to subscribe not just to my channel, but Ali's YouTube channel. And then we got a couple of channels together so you don't miss out on any new videos. Because remember, we got new videos every week across the board for all 3 channels. For this channel specifically, I could tell you're trying to say something. What?
It's because I can't stop thinking about the first joke you said right now.
What'd I say?
Don't half-ass it.
Oh, shit, I get the pun. I didn't even notice I said that. Shit, I should have said no pun intended. I didn't realize it. Don't half-ass it, get it, and it's a video about ass. Oh my God. That's funny. What a goober.
I was just like thinking about it.
If you want more of that type of content right there, couples channel. That's what it's about. And then
13-year-old me just couldn't keep it in.
yeah. And then Instagram, TikTok, same thing. Be sure to follow us on my account, her accounts, couples accounts. I put all the links down in the description below. With that being said, I'll catch y'all next time.